Kũngĩkorwo gĩtĩ kĩu gĩtigũcokio mũrĩma ona ithuĩ tũtingĩkorwo twĩ hamwe na thirikari ĩno tondũ thirikari ĩno twamĩathire na hinya mũingĩ mũno. Rĩu koguo tũngĩkorwo gĩtĩ gĩtigũcoka kĩrĩma tũtingĩkorwo twĩ hamwe na thirikari.
Nĩ twaumĩrire kumĩra tũrĩ ithuothe atumia tũgĩcagũra Ruto na tũgĩcagũra Gachagua, no rĩu nĩ tũraigua Gachagua nĩ arauma na tũkaigua tũtirĩ akenu na nĩma tũtirĩ akenu, no rĩu kwa ihinda rĩrĩ angĩkorwo nĩ gũkũhotekeka Gachagua aume eherere tũgĩcagũrĩrwo o Mount Kenya tũtige kwehererio gĩtĩ kĩu tondũ ndĩrarora Mount Kenya kwĩ maũndũ maingĩ mũno tũtekĩirwo na nĩ tũgũcoka thutha mũno.
Angĩkorwo nĩ kũrathiĩ ũguo ithuĩ tũtirenda mũndũ ũngĩ, tũrenda ni mũndũ wa igũrũ, mũtumia wĩ tha, mũtumia wĩiguagĩra andũ tha, mũtumia ũrĩragĩra atumia atari ta ithuĩ atumia aya matatwanyenyekea tũtarĩ na kũrĩa tũrĩ.
Cagũrĩrwo mũtumia rĩu nĩgetha tũrũmbũyagie na mũtumia ũcio tũrenda nĩ Animobi Waiguru, ũcio nĩwe tũrenda tũcokerio, tũtirenda mũndũ ũngĩ na ndatũma na ngiuga gwĩ president anjigue harĩa arĩ.
Na mũtumia ũmwe Mount Kenya ũrĩa ũrutaga wĩra wega mũno na nĩ tũĩ atĩ president nĩ oigire gwathurwo president akorwo mũtumia, running mate agakorwo president akorwo nĩ mũthuri, running mate nĩ mũtumia. Na rĩu mũtumia ũrĩa tũrona Mount Kenya wĩna experience mũigĩrĩrĩku na mũruti wĩra, gũtirĩ na mũtumia ũngĩ tũrona tiga Animobi Waiguru, na nĩ mũtumia mũruti wĩra twanamwona SES wa devolution anaruta wĩra na ithuĩ hĩndĩ ya Huduma Kitchen, koguo ithuĩ nĩ tũtũragia ngumo tondũ twanaruta wĩra nake.
Macroeconomic stability is essential for creating a conducive environment for MSMEs as well as other businesses in the economy to thrive. Against a very challenging domestic and global economic environment in 2022 and also in 2023, the CBK successfully implemented policy measures and reforms that have contributed to the restoration of macroeconomic stability in the country. Specifically, the overall inflation has declined from a peak of 9.6% in October of 2022 to the lowest level in over a decade of 3.6% in September 2024. And this reflects the impact of tightening of monetary policy, improved weather conditions, and provision by the government of subsidized fertilizer, which has enhanced food production. The Kenya shilling, which was one of the worst performing currencies in 2023, has now appreciated by about 18% against the US dollar since the beginning of 2024, making it the best performing currency globally against major currencies. The shilling appreciation reflects improved foreign investor confidence in the economy, which has resulted in increased foreign investments in the country. In addition, exports, tourism earnings, and diaspora remittances have performed very well. The reforms in the foreign exchange market to enhance transparency have also been critical in encouraging foreign exchange inflows. The overall balance of payments is projected to record a surplus of 554 million, which together with disbursements from our development partners will result in a build-up of the CBK usable reserves to 8.6 billion by end December 2024, and this is equivalent to about 4.2 months of import cover. And I just want to add that this 8.6 billion is, we have been able to build this reserve to 8.6, not because of borrowing, but because the exports and remittances have performed relatively well. The last time that the reserves of the central bank were almost at this level was in 2021, where we had reached 8.8. But it's important to note that during that year, we had issued a Eurobond of 2.1 billion. So that build up to 8.8 was as a result of the issuance of a Eurobond. This year, although we issued a Eurobond, it was for liability management and did not go to building up our reserves. So in other words, this 8.6 billion is a significant achievement for the central bank. The MSMEs play an important role in the Kenyan economy through employment creation and support of livelihoods, as well as being a resource of resilience of our economy. I wish to thank His Excellency for prioritizing MSMEs as a key pillar of the government's bottom-up economic transformation agenda. The Central Bank of Kenya continues to work very closely with the banking sector in ensuring that MSMEs achieve their full potential in transforming the economy. The theme of the exhibition, Accelerating MSMEs Development for Sustainable Economic Growth, therefore aligns seamlessly with the CBK's mandate to promote a stable and inclusive financial system and supports economic growth and development, as well as jobs creation. With the improved investor confidence and macroeconomic stability, the economy is expected to remain resilient in 2024, with real GDP growth projected at 5.1%, well above the projected global growth of 3.2%, and that of sub-Saharan Africa at 3.7%. And although agriculture and services sectors are resilient, we continue, Your Excellency, to see some challenges in the manufacturing sector, an area that I know you're very concerned about. But I think, Your Excellency, if we are to really bump up our growth to about the area of 7 to 8%, we really will need to address the manufacturing sector. This year, we expect manufacturing to grow by slightly less than 3% in real terms, Your Excellency. And this, again, will result in a reduction in the share of manufacturing in overall GDP and moving us in the direction that we don't want to go. The CBK is building on the prevailing macroeconomic stability to support the government's economic growth objective. This is reflected in the recent lowering of the central bank rate from 13% to 12% in the past 2 months. Following the lowering of the CBR, we have already seen a decline in the short-term interest rates for treasury bills, and we expect this reduction in the CBR to be transmitted to lower commercial banks' lending rates, which will facilitate growth in credit to the private sector. I would like to strongly urge the banks to lower their lending rates as soon as possible. This will be a win-win for both consumers, investors, as well as the banks, as it will stimulate economic growth by boosting credit to the private sector while at the same time addressing the rising non-performing loans of banks. With inflation declining steadily and expected to decline, and the CBK easing monetary policy, there is absolutely no reason not to have lower interest rates by the commercial banks. And Your Excellency, we have agreed with the commercial banks that we will be having a meeting just to brainstorm on how to ensure that with the lower inflation and the lower CBR, that they also extend lower interest rates to borrowers.
Let me take this opportunity to welcome you to the opening of the 2024 Inua Biashara MSME exhibition and the release of the 2023 Banking Industry Total Tax Contribution Report. Indeed, this is a reflection of our collective commitment to support the economy by 1, boosting the MSME sector as a backbone of our economy, and 2, contributing immensely to the revenue for public services. Let me pay special tribute today to His Excellency the President for honoring the banking sectors and business, our citizens' invitation to be here today. Thank you, Mr. President. As an industry, we acknowledge that MSMEs play a crucial role in our economy, contributing about 1/3 of Kenya's GDP and providing 8 to 9 of every 10 job opportunities created in the country. Supporting their growth, therefore, is vital, not only for economic development, but also for poverty reduction through innovative business solutions. It is our ambition to continue putting measures in place to unlock MSME's immense potential for Kenya's socio-economic transformation. In line with this ambition and our dedication to MSMEs, I am proud to announce that the banking sector has committed 150 billion shillings per year over the next 3 years to support these enterprises. This initiative aims to address one of the major challenges MSMEs face, which is access to finance. Recent studies show that nearly 40% of small businesses struggle to access the capital they need for growth. The high uptake of the Hustler Fund is a clear demonstration of this funding need for the smallest of these businesses. We believe that by supporting MSMEs to formalize their operations, they'll be able to access bank credit easily for expansion. And by doing so, much more of MSMEs will become important contributors to our tax revenue. The banking sector remains one of the most compliant when it comes to Excellency's call to lipe ushuru. Indeed, our collective tax contribution has doubled over the past 5 years. During that 5-year period, that's from 2018 to 2023, Your Excellency, the banking sector contributed a total of 825 billion shillings to the exchequer. In 2023 alone, the sector's total tax contribution reached a record 190 billion shillings, double what it was in 2018. And this amount represents 9% of all government taxes collected. What these numbers tell me is that for every 100 shillings that the sector generates, 57 shillings goes to the government in taxes, 28 shillings goes to employees as salaries, and only 15 shillings goes to shareholders. I think it's important to mention this because there has been a lot of commentary about how greedy banks are. So I thought I should mention that, Your Excellency. When we break down the taxes in 2023, the industry contributed 73 billion in corporate taxes, making up 30% of all corporate taxes paid in Kenya. We paid 29 billion in payee and 24 billion in excise duty, representing close to 60% of excise duty collected from financial services industry as a whole. Your Excellency, I hope this breakdown demonstrates why we strongly request your government to shield the banking sector from further taxes or regulations that could affect this important sector to the economy. In the same vein, the Kenya Revenue Authority, I urge them, must remain highly invested in the sector's growth and perhaps consider its approach to the many disputes it has with banks at either the tax tribunal or in the courts. Besides, the industry innovative solutions have enabled the banking industry to remain resilient over the years. The growth of tax contribution can be attributed directly to our efforts to help MSMEs formalize, open bank accounts, access credit, and contribute to the economy through direct and indirect tax payments. I am pleased to note that since 2018, through the Inuka Enterprise Program, we continue to successfully train businesses across the country, collectively as an industry, and under KBA at the individual bank level. Your Excellency, at KBA level, we have trained over 150,000 small businesses who are now on the way to formalizing their businesses. That's not to count the many hundreds of thousands that individual banks have themselves trained. These efforts have increased the creditworthiness, operational efficiency, and resilience of MSMEs, resulting in both business growth and increased tax contributions. Building on this, we are excited to launch the MSME Accelerator Program, which will provide mentorship, more targeted financial literacy training, and market access interventions to help MSMEs scale their operations in collaboration with our partners. And on this, Your Excellency, I must say we have been in touch with the Ministry of MSMEs, and they tell us they're about to offload 2 million customers on the Hustler Fund to the banks. So we're waiting to welcome them, Your Excellency. While we continue to support MSMEs as engines of national prosperity, we acknowledge that challenges remain. These challenges include the pending bills to MSMEs, which currently are estimated at about 70 billion shillings. These delays negatively impact supply chains, business viability, and bank lending. We laud efforts by the government to address this issue to ensure a healthier business environment and provide MSMEs a conducive environment to flourish. Your Excellency, the message I was asked to deliver is that if there is any way to prioritize these MSMEs who are owed small amounts by government and also us as corporations to do the same, that we should certainly endeavor to pay these SMEs. As an industry, we want to recommend and commend the government for introducing the Credit Guarantee Scheme through the National Treasury. This initiative, Your Excellency, has played a crucial role in unlocking capital for Kenya MSMEs by reducing the lending risk for financial institutions, thereby encouraging banks to extend credit to small businesses. Your Excellency, through this initiative, we have lent 6 billion shillings to the smallest of businesses in all 47 counties. So all the counties have actually benefited. By providing this much-needed access to finance, the program has enabled these enterprises to expand their operations, create jobs, and stabilize their businesses. To enhance MSME financing, we fully endorse the planned transition of the Kenya Credit Guarantee Scheme to a private limited company with minority government shareholding. This model has been proven effective in other economies and can help accelerate the use of guarantees to support credit access by MSMEs in the country. Your Excellency, in the same way that we created the Kenya Mortgage Refinance Company, this would support MSMEs, and I do share Your Excellency's concern that our contribution towards affordable housing needs to be enhanced, even as we do what we are doing.
As we take note of the fact that over 80% of jobs in Kenya are supported by MSMEs, we recognize that interventions aimed at revitalizing MSMEs would go a long way in tackling our long-standing unemployment problem among the youth of Kenya. In this regard, Your Excellency, we have a chance to collaborate with players in the private sector, such as the Kenya Bankers Association, to trigger stronger progress towards economic transformation that we so desire and are determined to achieve. As the Line Ministry, we are committed to supporting initiatives that bring together players through private-public partnerships that are more sustainable, affordable for all players, and ensuring harmony in the design of policy and guidelines of market conduct. I think we need to also be very clear as a country. There are some mega infrastructural developments that we cannot fund through exchequer. We must look for alternative financing, and therefore PPP, new as it is in this country, much as people don't understand it, we must make the citizens of Kenya understand PPP and understand that when we give out a project to be done through PPP, it is not selling. It is about concessioning that project to a private developer who works with us collaboratively to ensure that we have infrastructure that is competitive enough. Rwanda is developing has developed a serious airport. Ethiopia has an airport. Kenya cannot lag behind. We are losing our competitiveness as the hub in this region. And therefore, whether it is Adani or whoever it is, we must agree that someone must do our airport. And that communication must go out. And it is not just airport alone, major projects. Let us not shy away from engaging Kenyans. The National Treasury remains committed to supporting initiatives that are pro-economic growth, which would ensure sustainability and job creation. The subject of tax compliance and payments and supporting MSMEs, growth and transformation in the country are very critical at the moment. Your Excellency, first of all, allow me to laud or appreciate the banking sector for the level of commitment that this sector has in ensuring compliance with statutory requirements, laws and regulations, and more importantly, tax payments. This is one sector where we have very little problems with collecting taxes. So as the National Treasury, we commend this sector for its commitment to remaining at the forefront in battling the challenges that affect our economy in partnership with the National Treasury. Remember, Your Excellency, that during COVID-19, when COVID-19 hit us, the banking sector, working together with the Central Bank of Kenya, moved fast to support businesses that were facing supply-side constraints due to disruptions in their trade and supply chains. The sector restructured more than half of its total private loans to ensure that customers remained afloat amidst the ravaging effects of the pandemic. We gather here to celebrate the banking sector's contribution to our exchequer funding, contributing a total of over 190.26 billion in taxes in 2023, as the chairman mentioned. The sector continues to alleviate funding challenges that the government faces in its efforts to deal with pressing expenditure requirements. Allow me to highlight one intervention that the National Treasury has implemented with the banking sector to support lending to MSMEs in the country, and that is the Kenya Credit Guarantee Company. Through intervention that was launched in 2020 and as an emergency measure and with a seed capital of only 3 billion shillings, Your Excellency, which ring-fenced to provide guarantees to support businesses at the height of the devastating effects of COVID-19, and implemented through 7 banks, the banking sector has been able to extend loans amounting to slightly over 6 billion shillings distributed in all our 47 counties. Of noting, Your Excellency, is the fact that about 70% of the beneficiaries of these loans are MSMEs that would otherwise have not received loans due to perceived risks. Therefore, the National Treasury lauds your administration's commitment to supporting MSMEs growth and development as envisioned in bottom-up economic transformation agenda. And towards this end, the National Treasury has put in place measures to progressively start the payment of the government pending bills owed to businesses to enhance economic growth, which the chairman talked to. A lot is happening in this country in terms of development. A lot is happening in the economy progressively. Kamau Thuge, the governor, has mentioned the fundamentals. He has mentioned low inflation rates at 3.6%, which is very low. He has mentioned about our reserves, very healthy. He has mentioned about our currency, very stable. Our economic growth at 5%, 5.2%, is above average in the sub-Saharan Africa and even globally. So now the problem, Your Excellency, that we must work on is liquidity challenges in the economy, which is largely caused by lack of paying pending bills. So that is why Treasury is committing to supporting especially the micro, small, and medium enterprises. The other one, the governor has talked about the interest rate. If we can sort out these two, I am very, very sure that this economy would completely take off. We are at the takeoff stage. And that is why I said today, if you read the papers, that there is light, that I'm seeing positivity. Let us not look back. Let us not be pessimistic. And the banking sector will help us here.